I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV Velocities in Music, the best kept secret in music reviews. Today, we're really excited to review a metal album from a band called Deafheaven. The album is called Sunbather. Deafheaven. This is their second album. I really hadn't been exposed to this band before. Our friend Ian, who's been on the show and collaborated with us in the past, dropped this band's name and said, "You guys got to check this band out." He's been getting into some metal lately and has been a good source for new music, as he always has been. And he dropped Sunbather, and Tom and I picked it up, and we're like, "Wow, this is very interesting." So it definitely was reviewable in our backlog when we were analyzing it. It was definitely an album we wanted to check out. How would we describe Sunbather's sounds, Tom? Help me out.
Besides just metal, getting more specific than that.
Metal, and metal has all those infinite subgenres we choose to ignore. Yeah. We really just like our metal music to be loud and powerful, right?
Yeah. This as far as the sound goes, kind of the instrumental use they're going for, it leans toward the shoegaze side in the guitar, even the post-hardcore. I would compare some of the guitar to bands like My Bloody Valentine and even Sunny Day Real Estate or Thursday.
Especially the guitar.
Yeah, oh totally. Now the drums are way more hectic than really any of those bands. Pretty classic metal drums. The way it's produced is a little more lo-fi. You have this nice thick mid-range sound, and the vocals, very screamy vocals, are very low in the mix and more just kind of support, not even the guitar, but almost like the reverb of the guitar. Right. It's like the two just kind of become one.
Right, they did a really good job, and this is something that I've started to do with all albums, but especially when we're analyzing a metal album, is you have to look at the vocals and go, okay, did they produce and create the vocal part in a way that it's adding value to the overall sound? And I feel like Deafheaven did a very good job of doing that, because while the scream, it's not a deep, dark scream. It's more of a high-pitched, shrill scream, and they mix it so low in the mix that it really just adds this layer of texture to it, and they use it more as an instrument. Now, the downside is you don't really get to hear any of the lyrics or anything like that, which, to me, metal music has never been the best avenue to go if you're into lyrics. But at the same time, I really felt like they approached the vocals in a very good way. Now, one thing I definitely want to talk about on Sunbather is how they structured this album, because you have 4 tracks that are, one track is 9 1/4 minutes, and then you have 3 other tracks that break 10 minutes, and then you have a couple interlude tracks in between, which really aren't interludes. For any other band, this would be a normal track, but it's like 3 minutes,
relatively
6 minutes,
speaking.
4 and 4. So it's just, you have these in-between tracks. They shape the album so that, you have these bigger tracks in alternating with the shorter tracks, and it makes for a really interesting listen, because you get way into one motif of sound. You get way into that. They allow it to fully progress and digress at the end of it, and then it goes into a transitional song, which really isn't. It's a full song, but it's not transitional, and then it moves into a bigger track again, and it just breaks up the album listen, makes it nice and fluid, so you can put this on and listen to the whole album straight through.
The way I kind of see it is that you've got these 4 metal epic tracks, just kind of your classic kind of prog type metal in there, and when you think about it, if you listen to them without those shorter tracks in between, keep in mind shorter, relatively speaking here, if you didn't have those in there, I think that the songs would sound a lot more similar. Now, this is an album that once you listen to it enough, you really get to know the intricacies of the songs and how they're set up, but I think we can agree that those 4 longer metal songs sound a little more similar, whereas the shorter tracks break it up a little more, provide much more of the variety.
It's the variety.
And even more than variety, they provide a context for those longer tracks and differentiate them even more. Because listening to track 3, the title track, Sunbather, on its own is a much different experience than listening to it in the flow of coming after Irresistible and coming before Please Remember, 2 of the shorter tracks. It provides a context for it, because this album is all about flow. To me, the most effective one of those was actually track 6, Windows, where you have just some great kind of moody noise. You've got these samples in there that kind of sounds like a drug deal going down, with juxtaposed with a preacher and a sermon, and those two kind of clashing together really present an idea and the mood that the sounds are creating.
The parallels between the two.
Yeah, exactly. And to me, it's a really brilliant it's a really brilliant song for its subtleties and its moments that are just very straightforward and blatant, and leading into the final track, the Pecan Tree, which is just a great closer.
Oh, it's a fantastic track.
So yeah, to me this was all about album setup. They planned it really well, lots of great dynamics in an instrumental work. I mean, to me it was just a great album.
This would be a great album to use in an argument where you're saying that, you know, an album format is stronger than just a single track format. Because you could make a 10.5-minute track, and it's not going to be as strong as, you know, if it was in an album that works its strengths into it.
You're right. This is a prime example of that.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Now, as far as your opinion of this album, Tom, how did you feel about this one after a few listens?
Yeah, I really liked it. At first, it was all about the sound for me, and I was like, I can tell this is a sound that I can really dig into. And then it's just getting to know it a little bit more from there. And there's a lot to this album, so it's hard to get to know these songs really intimately. From there, I mean, it's funny because I don't really have much bad to say about it, and I'm gonna give this album a good score. I still could have gone higher, and that's just based purely on personal enjoyment. I still could have enjoyed this album more. There could have been more spots that really just knocked me off my feet, and I didn't quite get there. I thought that it was consistently very good, but there was nothing that just absolutely blew me away.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, and what I found myself absolutely falling in love with was I got a real post-rock vibe from this album at times, especially with how they would build some of the tracks, some of the instrumentation that they would use, and really just the composition of the melody. I felt really kind of reminded me of post-rock at times. I like that they were able to do some really intense metal moments that, you know, where you have a double kick drum and the really harsh vocals, and it's loud and in your face, but it doesn't really sound like a metal album. They're using it for a dynamic effect, and it really had a good intensity to it, and really it was exactly what I wanted to see in a metal composition. So there were moments though where I didn't feel like they really were engaging me all the time, and so that kind of brought it down just slightly for me, but I think I'm going to settle on an 84 for this album.
I'm going to go 85.
So 85 from us at Velocities of Music, which means it's an absolute must listen. If you guys haven't heard Sunbather, go pick up Deafheaven's latest or second album now, and definitely check this out and leave us a comment at www.velocitiesofmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesofmusic. And also follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and let us know what albums from 2013 you'd like to see us review. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.